Hello, welcome to Greet the Week. I'm Mona Duncan here with my co-host Jan Moray, and today we're talking about resolutions, or whether you make a resolution or revolt against resolutions or whatever. Life keeps going on, and it is part of human nature to always want to improve. And so whether we actually call it a goal or a resolution or whatever, Jan, what do you have on your mind today?
Well, what I was thinking, obviously, first of all, Happy New Year to everybody, and welcome back in this new year, 2019. And the first of the year is always a good time to think about, okay, what do I want to do better this year? Like you said, we always want to improve ourselves, and that helps to keep us energetic and keep having meaning in life and stuff, as if we're keeping improving and doing things better. So setting goals are kind of hard sometimes. And I mean, if you look at the statistics for New Year's resolutions, we don't do so well. Less than 10% of people who make resolutions actually stick with them. So there's all kinds of things in science and studies that have been done that show ways that make it a little bit easier to keep those resolutions during the year. So whether it's July 1st and you're making a New Year's resolution, or you just tired of carrying that extra weight on your belly, or you need to get up off of your chair and go exercise a little bit. So, I thought we'd talk a little bit about how to keep those create those new habits and help to get them to stick.
So, do you have any suggestions right offhand?
Well, I do. And
okay.
Of course I do. Leading question there. And of course, the biggest thing is to set the environment for being successful, and becoming the person you want to be, thinking that way. Because one of the most popular types of resolutions is to lose weight. I mean, that's always a big one there. I want to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 5 pounds, whatever it is. And but then we think, oh, that chocolate pie sure does look good. I sure would like to have it. But if we look at ourselves as somebody who is able to watch what they eat, and I'm not the kind of person who eats a lot of sweets, even though I do enjoy them. I save them for very special occasions. And so you're setting your mindset for success, that this is the new person that I'm going to become. And because if I'm going around all the time lamenting all the things that I can't eat anymore because I'm trying to lose all this weight, then we're just setting ourselves up for failure. So it's to try to set the mindset that you're the kind of person that knows what's good for you and can put those things aside.
Right, and get a picture of that. In the basic intensive trainings, teaching people that want to become a counselor through the modality of choice theory and reality therapy, teach them that as long as you can help the client to see something before it ever happens, we have to see it. Yeah. And Barnes Buffy, his slogan that he came up with, that picture the end result of what you will be, you got to get that picture, that end result, whether it's weight or changing a snarky attitude or whatever it is. Get that end picture, and then do today what that end you will be doing when you get there.
Right. Yeah.
You do it today. Right. Knowing that today, although you may want to lose 10 pounds, it's not going to drop off by this time tomorrow.
No.
But you get that picture in your mind of what you will look like. Right. And then you do every day what that end you will be doing when you get there. And once you get it, you just can't go back.
Right. That's right. And then it's also to know how you're going to get there. Because it's easy to say, I want to lose 20 pounds. I mean, that's just a number, but it doesn't mean anything if I haven't thought about what kinds of things do I need to do in order to get there. So maybe I'm going to walk for 20 minutes every day, and I'm going.
You mean we need a roadmap?
Right. We need a roadmap on how to get there. Exactly. Because it's so easy just to talk about what it is we want, but if we have no clue if it's even attainable, then it's going to be difficult to get there, because we have to identify the obstacles. I know there's going to be that chocolate pie staring me in the face, and so I need to create a strategy on how I'm going to say no to it, and how I'm going to get through it, so I don't keep falling back, so I don't then get discouraged and quit doing it.
Right. Because the thing of it is when we either procrastinate because we want it to be perfect, or because we don't do that, what we are doing is we're paralyzing ourselves.
Yes.
And we need to do it. And I know as far as weight loss goes, that was, kept finding itself on my New Year's resolutions again and again and again and again and again until 2010. I mean, it was there again. Okay. It was there again. But in 2010, I began to get a new mindset in going with that, getting that in picture, and then doing today what you will be doing when you get there.
Mm-hmm.
And also knowing the power of words. And every word has power. And if you talk about losing and you do lose a little bit, then, just that losing thing, if you've lost something, you have a tendency to look for it.
Yeah, right.
So I began to look at the fact that I am releasing. Whether it's a snarky attitude, whether it is overeating, whether it is, overspending, whatever it is, I'm going to release. I'm going to begin to release. And I adopted a few little gadgets. I mean, a few little motivating things to motivate me, such as in going shopping, I came up with my little motivating statement of, I'm tired of cute.
Oh,
and when I would look and say, oh, well, that's so cute. I would say no to it because I'm tired of cute. I've got to release that.
Okay.
I've got to release that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And I think that's a good point about the losing weight, using a negative word and to find a positive word. Yeah. And to find a positive word to replace it. And
right.
One magnet that my husband had.
I missed a word that Mona said. You said, I'm tired of
cute. C-U-T-E. Tired of cute. Whether it's a dress or a pair of shoes or a whatnot or new makeup or what, I'm tired of cute.
I have enough cute stuff.
I've got enough cute stuff. And that stuff doesn't make me any cuter. It's a personality thing that does.
But after a while, you don't think it's quite so cute anymore either.
Exactly. So we get that end result in our mind, and then we begin to live up to it, as we begin to shrink in size.
Right.
Or as we begin to shrink in bringing in gobs of stuff we don't need or things like that. It's just beginning to look at look at for my health. Do it for the health of it.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Whatever it is, whether it's the health of a relationship or.
Right. For losing weight, one of the magnets that my husband had on the refrigerator for a long time is nothing tastes as good as thin feels.
Exactly.
That's something. That's a way to look at it. When your jeans start getting loose, it's like, oh, this feels pretty good. But I've got more room in these jeans now. I can move my belt buckle.
Right. And that exact same thing applies to holding a grudge or being easily offended. Nothing tastes as good. Nothing feels as good as not getting angry to start with.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's looking at what we're wanting in those things. Is we're wanting trade-offs, and so by trading off. And everything has a trade-off. Everything does.
Yes, it does.
You can't go someplace without leaving someplace. So everything has a trade-off. And look at what is going to be for the health of it. What's going to really help us mentally, emotionally, physically, relationally, success-wise. Because whatever you're planning, plan it for your whole life. That touches every corner of everything that's important to you.
Well, I am now this person. I am now this healthy person. I'm now this mentally healthy person. I'm now this physically healthy person, and and I'm now the kind of person who doesn't hold grudges. I'm somebody who's able to brush things off and deal with situations.
Exactly, and that's not to boost the ego. It's just to have an appreciation that, oh wow, it feels so good to grow into that.
Yeah, and to really appreciate and to enjoy that feeling of, wow, I was able to handle that. Normally when this person would say these kinds of things, I would be all upset and it would ruin my day, but I'm not going to allow it to ruin my day anymore. And that feels pretty good.
Right. And not only that, not only for you, but because we so touch each other. we're all connected. And so as we may be around that person that still is real snarky and still, ask all these imposing questions or makes comments or whatever, instead of being angry at them, we just turn it around and have compassion for them. Because we realize that, what they're miserable, they're in pain. And even the person that overeats, the one that overspends, the one that over anything, we become overbearing whenever we get all the overs, that person is in pain, and have compassion for them. And as we can have compassion for ourselves, and how is what I am trying to seal that pain with, is it helping or hurting? And realizing that it.
Yeah. That is a big question, is what I'm doing right now helping the situation, or am I making it worse?
Right.
If you can just stop and think about that throughout the day.
Yeah. So drawing us closer together, pushing us further apart.
Right.
Is it getting me healthier, or is it getting me sicker?
Right.
Is it getting me more successful, or is it, is it dwindling the bank account? It's looking at all those things and how they really do affect us. So do you have other suggestions?
Yeah, so in setting the environment, like, for example, let's get back to the weight loss thing. If, when I go to the grocery store, I have a list that I make, and those are the only things that I buy at the store, because I know that if I have these tempting foods and snacks around the house, I'm going to eat them. So so I'm creating a new habit and sticking to my habit, but so I'm creating an environment at home so I don't have these things that are going to tempt me. Now, when I go out or to somebody else's house, that's a whole nother area to work on, but at least I can control what happens in my house. And if I don't have anything there that I'm not supposed to eat, then I'm not tempted to eat it. And I have to force, and I put more things like more fruit and more healthy foods around the house, so that when I am hungry, I then change my habit and eat the things that are available, because it is a lot of trouble to get in the car and go out and get a Frosty or whatever you're craving at the time. And
the thing of it is that hunger prompts us to seek. And so even when you're going to the grocery store, and one of the things that can really calm that down, that is then an 8-ounce glass of water. I mean, just take some water and just drink it down. And it will help you begin to, And so don't go to buy groceries or go shopping or, while you're hungry.
Right.
Do something to help tone that down so that you're not so easily influenced to get off of what you've made a commitment to.
That's right. And so that's creating that environment for you. And then don't go shopping on Saturday or Sunday where they've got those people with the little carts out there with all these things trying to get you to try this new product they're trying to get you to buy.
Right. And a good point on creating your environment with, if you're one that gets real irritated with people and you don't like long lines and that kind of stuff, go at midnight to do your shopping.
Yeah.
Or whether it's to the Walmart or, whether it's to buy groceries. And then realize the fact that, so what if you have to park at the end of the parking lot? That's going to give you a good exercise to walk into whatever the place is, whatever the mall is. And see all of those things instead of being obstacles as being an opportunity to help meet another goal.
Right. Well, it's all back to improving yourself. Having to walk a few more steps to go to the store is good. It helps you to move around a little bit more, and then you've got your list, so you get just the food that you want, and you're getting rid of this. There's no more that's so cute. I don't need any more cute things. So when you see something cute in the store, no, I don't need to buy that. And just being aware of what you're doing and creating an environment so that you don't fall back. But then go ahead. But then if you do, that's normal. I mean, that's not everybody. I mean, nobody's going to make it through without stumbling a little bit on the way. And that's to, not to beat yourself up. Say, okay, Mona's favorite saying, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And then let's figure out what am I going to do about it. I'm going to get right back on. Okay, I put a couple more pounds on. That's okay. We'll just get back on our program and keep moving forward.
And you know what? Yeah, that is what it is, has given me personally a new look at what reality is, okay? At what reality. So it is what it is. Good, bad, indifferent, it is what it is. So what?
Right.
Now what? Now what am I going to do about it being what it is? And so in that very instance of it is what it is, I made a mistake, but you know what? I'm surviving in spite of it.
Mm-hmm.
And now what am I going to do about it? Am I going to use it as a lesson that I'm learning from, or is I going to use it as something that just beat me down that I think I can't do it, that I'll keep on in that path.
Yeah.
And whenever we are hungry, how many times do we automatically go for something that we have that hunger, but it's not for food, but we use food. We're going to eat anyway. We're looking for something. So as we can identify what we're hungry for, what we're longing for, what am I searching for? What am I really, really wanting? What is my soul trying to tell me? Because I find that if it keeps coming back on that, whether it's a New Year's list or a birthday wish or whatever, if it keeps being that same thing that's coming back, it's our true self. It's our true soul trying to say, wake up, wake up, wake up. You're on the way, but you haven't gotten it yet.
I'm sorry, I missed a word. Our what self? Our crew?
Our soul.
No, but you said you had a word that started with a C. Crude, crew soul, crude self.
True, maybe?
You just said it. You said the word. It started with a C. It sounded like crew self, crew soul, crude. I don't know. What was that word?
I don't know. Let me think about it.
I'm thinking it might have been true. Did you say true self?
Could you tell
Possibly.
me? What was that word again? Jan?
True.
Our true self. Our real self. Gives a new.
Oh, true. True.
Our true self.
Okay. Thank you.
Gives us a new, and we begin to look at reality. It becomes, my reality is I'm hungry for this, but I am also, my reality is because, I've made an error, but I'm surviving it. I'm seeing the fact that what I'm doing is not real. It's not helping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it becomes clearer, becomes more clear.
Talking about whether it's something that you really need for yourself is I notice that when I'm, most days I'm just sitting here at my computer doing whatever I do here. And then I get hungry a lot, and I go in and I say, what's there to eat and stuff. But if I'm like out working in the yard or like over the holidays where we had so much people and so much stuff going on, I didn't get hungry.
Right.
Into the think, I said, a lot of that is just boredom for me. I'm just tired of what I'm doing, and it just kind of makes a break in the day to get up and get something. So that's another thing about your environment. What is it about your environment that might be promoting you to keep those habits you're trying to break?
Exactly.
How can I change up my day and do other things during the day so that I don't get bored and I find a break from the boredom by going to the kitchen and getting something.
So if the goal is to calm your anger or your frustration or those resentments or whatever, how can we set the environment to do that?
Okay, I think about that one for
maybe limit time with someone.
Yeah. You use it as a cue that I got to go right now. I'm really great talking to you. We'll get back.
Not to write them off. It's to limit time.
Right. Yeah. Or just to take a deep breath. I mean, sometimes you can't get away from them, and there's nobody else to go to. So just take a deep breath, and maybe it's like, I need to take a break and run upstairs for a minute. Sometimes even just changing location, I think, is something that helps the attitude, because we do associate thoughts and feelings from the rooms that we're in.
We do.
So if there's a room that you're always with this person and it's always uncomfortable there, maybe you can move the conversation to another room. Kind of like putting a kid in timeout. You're moving them away from the situation that's creating those negative emotions.
Or sometimes even taking a walk, getting outside, sitting on the porch, sitting on the
Let's go take a walk outside.
Yeah. Yeah. And side to side as opposed to face.
Yeah.
That's another way to help cut down some of those, because it's hard to glare at someone
When they're next to you.
if they're beside you.
Right. Right.
And maybe do something together, that would busy both of you. So
Sitting here talking, let's do something.
right, help to distract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about, remembering things, and that sometimes you want to go get something, and you go to the other room, and then you forget what you went there to get, and then you go back to where you started, and once you're back there, then you remember what it is that you wanted to get. And they said that the reason for that is the association with the room. And so to associate, different thoughts and feelings with, it goes back to the environment, with the environment that you're in, the room that you're sitting in. And so maybe in the kitchen, we don't ever have these discussions, or if we're outside or something. So let's create a new environment that is not associated with feeling angry or emotional.
And sometimes that helps and sometimes it doesn't.
Well,
but it's a start. But it's a start. If we have any kind, how many times is there like an interruption of some kind that, moves your train of thought? Well, we want to set up those interruptions for ourselves so that we'll move that train of thought.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of being
time out on a sports game, right?
Right. But do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. And it may be a little timeout for the other person also, but at least you've started there.
Yeah.
So, and then another thing that I like to do is gamify it. Make some kind of fun out of it.
Okay.
There's an article that I wrote about the turtle's edge. Remember the story of the turtle and the hare? And the hare always wanted to have fun. Well, sometimes if we make a game out of something, whether it is for ourselves to keep us motivated, or whether it's to help either keep us motivated to go forward or motivated to stop and put the brakes on. If we can make a game out of it, something that will be put a little bit of fun to it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like going back to the losing weight thing. It's kind of hard to keep track of how many pounds you've lost, because that is slow in losing the weight. But you could, if you had a step tracker, you could track steps. How many steps am I doing every day? Am I beating what I did the day before? And I'm trying to achieve something like that. And those things, you can even engage other people and kind of have a competition, a friendly competition between each other, in ways to make a game out of it.
I have a personal problem that's been bothering me for 30 years. I still haven't solved it. And I'm wondering if the two of you could offer some suggestions.
You got it.
Well, I do a lot of things well, but I'm mostly disorganized and undisciplined with papers. My office is cluttered with all kinds of papers. They're not organized. I know where some of them are. A lot of them I don't know where. A lot of them it is irrelevant. It's old stuff. I don't need it anymore. I have drawers and drawers. At one time, about 15 years ago, I got organized and made a whole bunch of folders in drawers. And now they're full of a whole bunch of old stuff that I don't need anymore. I don't expect to solve this overnight, but if you have some concrete suggestions of how to solve this problem, I would appreciate it.
Well, I have some suggestions. One thing is that you can never organize clutter. So you got to declutter. Declutter. And if you haven't used it in X amount of days, you probably won't. If there's something hanging in your closet that you haven't worn, if there's a research thing that you're going to go back and research and it's been 3 years and you haven't done it, do it or dump it. Just take it. Just cut the cord. Realize the fact that this is something I thought I was going to do, I haven't done, and I'm going to release that because there's probably a lot more new information out there now anyway. But you have to start somewhere, and you start by decluttering.
How do you make yourself do half an hour every day?
You just have
decluttering or whatever.
You just have to set a time, set a time, specific time every day that is what you do. And
Set a time.
Well, you make a game out of it.
yeah.
You make a commitment. You decide for yourself which really, when I get true to me, when I'm true to me, when I'm honest with myself, which do I want more? Keeping all this stuff, or do I want to get organized? See, everything has a trade-off.
I do want to get organized, but it doesn't come to me naturally. I haven't done that for 77 years, so I need to change the pattern.
Well, it's small steps. I had a client one time that was so rigid with everything that I had to teach her how to be late.
Oh, is that right?
And live through it. And sometimes you just have to force yourself to do something and realize that I survived anyway. And so therefore, maybe I'm really not allergic to it. Maybe that's just something maybe that's a lie I've told me, that I can't do it. Goes back to old Henry Ford. There's nothing that can beat that. Whether you say you can or you can't, you are right. Whether you say I can or I can't, you are right.
Yeah, it's a matter. I've done that before, where I set a certain amount of time every day, and that's what I do. Because I'm a paper hog too. I save every piece of paper. I don't throw things away. I have my tax returns, every single tax return I've ever done. I still have it. My husband's like, "Are you kidding me? You only need to keep those so many years." Yeah, it was kind of fun to see how much I was making then and stuff. But do I ever go back to them? No. And so finally, I got a shredder, and I just started shredding paper. I just do a little bit every day until I got through the whole pile.
Right. Small steps. Cut it down.
Yeah. Because if you look at the whole job, it's just too big to do. But if you could break it up, then you feel good about yourself. I did my 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day. I did it today. Yay. I feel good. And tomorrow I'll do a little bit more. And then tomorrow I'll do a little bit more. But it is the kind of thing that it does take time to create that habit, because your natural wants to have clutter, wants to have things disorganized. And so you have to force yourself to do it. And it takes time. I mean, they say in anywhere between 21 days and 250 days in order for a habit to stick. But the thing is that you tell yourself that you are an organized person. You do want to have things organized. You don't want to have a lot of clutter. You don't want to have a lot of things that you don't need. It's a fire hazard for anything, and having all this paper around. And just do a little at a time.
And if you're talking about clutter in your office type thing with books and papers and that kind of stuff, get a sticky note, and what you are sorting, like maybe one would be budgeting and one would be articles and one would be something else. And then as you go through everything, you've got your sticky notes. So you're going to put all of the pertinent information for that one thing together. Whether you're not looking at it at the time, you're sorting it, okay? So like you put, let's just break it down to words or movies or, whatever it is. And then as you go through all those things and you've put it into piles. And so now you have piles of files, but you take it one, and which one is the most important? Which one, is budgeting? Is that the one that you need to look at the most? Or income tax, is that the one you need to look at the most? And go through all of those and sort through very judiciously, but also very critically. I mean, if it's just a kind of sort of, get rid of it. Or put it somewhere else, or make a note to yourself. And begin to whittle them down one pile at a time.
And sometimes you're not ready to make a decision about one thing, and it's okay to put it away. that was a strategy that I used when I was cleaning out my parents' house. I went through everything in their house, and there are some things that had sentimental value, and I was like, okay, I'm not ready to get rid of this right now, but I know it's not worth keeping, so I'm just going to put it aside. And then the next time I got to it, maybe I was ready to get rid of it. But I would do that. I would go over there once a month and spend 2 days, and then go back the next month and spend another 2 days. It took me like 3 years to get through everything. But I mean, it's like little baby steps, little by little at a time, so that you feel like you're making progress. And then sometimes, after the second or third time, when you come back and revisit something, no, that's really not all that important. I can release it now.
Right. Well, we're about to run out of time, so I want to say a couple of things here. I have written an article, The Turtle's Edge, and it's on my blog. If you want to go there, I would encourage you to. It's www.monaduncan.blogspot. And I've made myself a note to my next article to be on clues to decluttering.
All right.
So give me 2 or 3 days and check back again. And also, if you want to, have it sent to you automatically, you can sign up. Now, Jan, you want to give us some parting clues here?
So, set those goals for the year and create the environment so that you can be successful. Be the person you want to be. Start acting that way right now, and don't worry about the little setbacks. They'll happen, and I hope you have a wonderful 2019.
And have a blessed new year, and thank you for tuning in. So we're saying goodbye for today, and we'll see you next week on Greet the Week.
All right.
Thanks a lot.